Good morning, everyone. This is Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and we are here with day 110, or sorry, 110 of Coffee and MTG, the morning talk show. Where first, step one, you brew up the coffee. Step two, let's brew up some Magic conversation. We talk all things Magic the Gathering on this show, and we also do deck list reviews. So first half, let's talk Magic. Second half, let us see your deck list. If you have a deck list that needs some feedback, you need help with the mana base, you need help against a certain archetype, you bring it here and we'll steer you in the right direction. So wherever you are in this world, morning, afternoon, or evening, brew up that cup of coffee, that cup of tea, whatever the hell it is you want to drink, and let's enjoy the morning together. We have already Panch Hernandez here, ready to start the conversation up. And I don't know, there's all sorts of things to talk about recently. We got more secret lair information. What is it? We've got the, hold on, let me get into the correct edit stream info, get into the Magic channel. I'm not a podcast, people. I'm not a podcast. Good morning, Lord Magicus. Good morning. Let's let the shit talking of the Walking Dead secret lairs begin. All right. Let's talk a little bit. I got some idea how heated this discussion was, but now after watching the MTG Magic show, where the community gave feedback, I've been paying attention to the advertisements for the secret lair. If you look in the comments of the advertisements, because Wizards has comments turned off on their YouTube video about the Walking Dead secret lair, they do not have comments turned off on their ads, which are posted on Facebook, on Twitter, and they're all negative. There's like, I would say, I don't know, 10% positive feedback, but not a lot of good stuff. So what is the new card? The baseball bat? Lucy, I can't remember what on earth it is called. Someone help me. What's the baseball bat that the new equipment can equip for? It costs 2 mana. Equip for 4. It's ridiculous. Lucille? Is it Lucille or Lucille? It's called Lucille for now. Oh, it's not available yet here on Scryfall, but I'm sure it will not be too hard to find it. Lucille MTG secret lair. Google is powerful. Here we go. Behold! Lucille, which is already available on Magic the Gathering Online. This was like I don't know, it was like some sort of special extra bonus in the secret lair box. It was actually originally discovered by Nisa Meow Meow, a great MTG Arena content creator. She did an unboxing, and this was actually revealed within the box. So equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has menace. Whenever equipped creature attacks, defending player sacrifices a creature. If they do, you create a walker token. Actually, relatively good effect. Probably is not going to see any legacy play, however. However, there was the joke by many content creators that what Magic might devolve into is equipping certain TV show or cartoon characters with object or weapons from other TV shows or cartoon characters. So, I mean, we might be able to like use a Pokeball on a Llanowar elf or something to that effect, and it will like imprison them. I don't know. Enchanted, a Pokeball Llanowar elf. Enchanted creature cannot attack, block, or use any activated abilities. But the powers of Grayskull, that's right. So it is this weapon confirms that Magic could very much be moving in this direction. Assuming they go through with this any further than this. If the outrage of Magic players means anything to Wizards of the Coast. What else can we say about this? I was really surprised. Let's go to YouTube. Commander's quarters. Oops, this is... Well, where am I? So, Commander's quarters. Oops. The point I want to get to is Commander's quarters actually had not one, but multiple videos regarding these banned cards. Like was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Sorry, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a fifth one, and they're all over like 100,000 views, which actually goes to show how upset the Commander community probably is about this, given like the outrageous feedback. Now, in addition to that, apparently, I mean, I'm not super close to the situation. The host of Commander Quarters, Mitch, created some format that more or less died overnight. I don't have good details about this, but basically he made a format called Captain, which, what's it called? It was basically Commander minus the Walking Dead cards. That was basically it, right? It was the one with the Captain format was erased. So it was basically a format without the Walking Dead cards. It had massive support, and then it died within 24 hours. Maybe other people can have more what's it called? More feedback on that. But like that's basically all I know about it. Good morning, Reality. Good morning, Dexter Johnson. It's not even on the Wizards of the Coast site yet. Well, it may probably because they were trying to spoil Lucille. Is it Lucille? I think it's Lucille. Morning. Had to leave early on the Among Us stream. How did you like the game? I love the game, actually. I love the game. I'm willing to play a lot more. If my Twitch subs and my patrons want to get in on a game, maybe we can start like doing that, because I would love to get more experience at this game. The game Among Us requires I think it's more fun when you actually know how everything operates. I didn't know what a dead body looked like. I didn't know the point of the objectives. I didn't know that only like imposters can go through the vents. Like there's all sorts of variables that were missing on my part that I couldn't get really involved in the game. But the more I know, the more interesting it gets. Good morning, Grim Ducky, Alchemist, Whitman, by the power of Grayskull, He-Man with Jason's machete. That's possible. It's all possible within the MTG universe now. But it really feels like a silver border thing. Like they've done this sort of weird crap before with the unsets. In the unsets, you can do whatever the hell you want. It's not actual competitive Magic. And then in your Fairyland version of Magic, do whatever you want there. Anyway, hey, Make the Mailman, how's it going? I'm doing fine. I don't know about the rest of the MTG community. They could use a booster. They could use a shot of positivity in their arm. Everything's going to hell recently. Don't forget, you can pay to get the imprisoned creature on your side. I don't know what this is in reference to. Can't remember. Riot Games League of Legends is loaded with items that I can see appearing in Magic. It's possible. Although, like, I don't know how big... I get this sense that Hasbro is only going to be able to get the intellectual property to stuff that's not very popular anymore. You could argue League of Legends is in that territory. The Pokeball would probably be more of a flicker effect. The outrage means nothing, and they will do it again many times. I've always wanted actual Voltron as a 5-card artifact creature made. They created their own commander. This is what I understand. The what's it called? Captain. I love how it's called Captain. Basically, someone who's also leading a bunch of other people. Was its own format, but would have been interesting. Look, I'm not a commander player, but I get a sense that this format needs a second rules committee. It needs a second direction. So there's one like official commander format, and then there should be an unofficial commander format, because I get a sense from the competitive EDH side that they need to govern themselves. Like the ban list doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for their format, and they should probably change. They should have their own separate ban list. And I get a sense that the actual EDH rules committee doesn't really recognize competitive EDH too strongly. I mean, they bent their knee a little bit for, or sorry, they went against maybe their own customs and own rules in order to get flash banned for them. But for the most part, I don't think they recognize competitive EDH very much. And I think the competitive EDH community is actually strong and devoted enough that it deserves its own committee and its own set of rules. So I thought, and that could have been a window of opportunity in the form of Captain. In Captain, they're going to make their own rules, their own ban list. Anyway, I'm not that connected to Commander, so take my words with a grain of salt. Good morning, Hot Chocolate. I watched the video Commander with Integrity. Why did it die exactly? I don't know. It went and then it was gone. Cactus Ovishmak, hi from Poland. How did you finish in the challenge? Could not watch it. How is the new meta in your opinion? I think the new meta is very good. I think it's very healthy. I did very poorly in the challenge on the weekend. So there was like a free roll that I could play in on the weekend, the Modern Showcase Challenge. I threw myself in there with Mono Blue Merfolk with Glasspool Mimic because I've been just killing it in the leagues with it. So it was about time that I take it to a competitive level. So tournament was well attended, 225 people, but I did very poorly. I ended up with a 4-5 finish, probably a close 4-5 finish, but still a 4-5 finish. At the time, I wanted to blame the deck, and I could blame the deck for a few things, but I took a sleep. I went to bed that night, woke up really refreshed, and I could reflect that I didn't play my best. I knew that in the moment. It was on a Saturday. I didn't even want to play on Saturday, but it was free. I have to use my qualifier points for something, so I played in it. My opponents were really tough. I was up against a lot of tough, so I wasn't playing so well. I was up against a lot of tough opponents. And third, I was up against not the matchups I want to play against. It was a lot of really tough, aggressive Death Shadow matchups. I was up against humans. So these were not the matchups I was hoping to play against. I was up against Amulet. These are not the matchups I was hoping for. But anyway, that was the situation. I wish it could be better. At first, I was going to be like, I'm going to scrap Mono Blue, go back to Simic. I'm going to give Mono Blue another try when I'm in better shape and, maybe I can get better pairings. So anyway, that's where I stand. I might make some adjustments to the Mono Blue deck, but that's about it. But anyway, tournament was crap for me. It sucked. But there's always another tournament. Never put too much stock into one event. No one wanted to play Rickless EDH. Yeah, I'd love to give it a shot. Apparently the Captain Discord became toxic and full of troll in less than a few hours. Well, that's like any play. That's like any place. You gotta police it. Different topic. What's your opinion on Oops spells in Modern? Is it a staple deck? Probably not. I mean, I think it's going to be a staple deck in the sense that Neoform is a staple deck. I don't think that this deck can stand the heat of hate, basically. There is a bit of a balance. You can crush it with Graveyard Hate, or you can crush it with you crush it with Graveyard Hate, but you still need an Artifact Hate plan because you have to deal with Charbelcher coming in from the sideboard. So there is a bit of some decks may not be able to find a good balance of beating both at the same time, but there will be decks, and you need also at the same time, you need to be able to have a proactive game plan to beat them before they find an answer to your hate cards, because they do have them. They have Thoughtseize, they have Nature's Claim, so they have answers to your answers. But I think a good mix of just proactivity followed by disruption is going to be enough. So I think that in that regard, Death Shadow should have a good matchup against this Oops All Spells deck. Not to mention they can just Thoughtseize the lands away if they really want to. But it has results now. It has more result. It has a good showing right now. Good results because people are not prepared for it very well. They have not discovered how to beat it. Maybe some people are getting got by the siding in of the Charbelcher plan, but I don't really see this deck as being able to sustain the heat of the metagame if people choose to try to beat it. Yeah, those are my thoughts. It's going to be around, though. It's going to be around. It's like, if you want to say, is it's going to be like a modern deck from here on out? Yes. Yes, it will be. But I don't think it's more powerful than like the most powerful modern deck of all time. Lucille. All right. Thank you very much, Dexter Johnson. Who's the mimic imposter among the Merfolk crew? Who's the mimic imposter? I guess maybe Phantasmal Image. Because you just pick him off for 1 damage and poof, he just disappears. I don't care that much about the cards, but it's a worrying precedent that they've set. At the moment, like, I am not happy about the Walking Dead crap, but like, because I think it's lame, but I'm not acting like it's the end of the world for me. For the most part, I play Modern. These cards don't see play in Modern yet. But even if they did, whatever, I would still keep playing this game. I'm not gonna dump it because I have to play against Pikachu or Scorpion from Mortal Kombat or something like that. I think Legends of Runeterra will use them. I think they should do this, but do it like the Godzilla cards. Yeah, I mean, everyone's, you know what? They have millions of ways of fixing this. And maybe they'll go that direction in the future. They realize, okay, we're going to take the community feedback. Let's go back to the Godzilla route where we can print stuff from wherever, so long as it's attached to a real card, which can be anything, you know? Lucille could have been a sword. Lucille could have been like a zombie killing sword from something, and then they just replaced the sword with a baseball bat. I think what made this very particularly unique is that it's a walker token. So the walker token is not the same as a zombie token, which will make it maybe things a little bit more awkward when trying to use Echoing Truth. I don't like all these crossovers. It feels disingenuous to the story of Magic. It is. So Wizards clarify that the stories and arcs between these two universes do not collide, but that's not how it's going to play out in the game, because basically, flavor-wise, they are interacting. The two universes are crossing over. When I use Lucille to equip my creature to attack a Jace the Mind Sculptor, I just used Lucille on a Jace the Mind Sculptor. Lucille got hit in the head with this barbed wire bat. It happened. It happened in the game. It's canon. So even though they say these are two separate universes, in gameplay it's not. Like, it's just not. League of Legends fits well with Magic. It's a league of legendary characters, which can also be planeswalkers. Maybe it is a better crossover than other ones. Well, you know, one crossover that has always been the case, but like maybe no one recognizes, is like Lord of the Rings. Like, there are orcs in this game. This game has orcs. Let's look for orcs. Let's look at all the orcs, actually. Let's look for all the orcs. Oops. Advance. Creature type is orc. No. Is it in here? Pretty sure creature is orc. Or did they oh no, here we go. Orc. Here's all the orcs. Orc is very specifically, I believe, a Lord of the Rings thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Lord of the Rings made orcs. You know, orcs are basically like, they're like a more of an ugly goblin, right? So if anything, the correct crossover is Lord of the Rings. We could have the One Ring in this game. But make no mistake, I don't think orc comes from any other fantasy genre than Lord of the Rings, or at least Lord of the Rings made it first. I mean, you can say goblins came from a lot of different things. Elves came from many different mythologies, but orcs is very Lord of the Rings specific. There are Kithkin. Are Kithkin in Lord of the Rings? And also, good morning, Tuxdev. Nice to see you around. Orc is a D&D thing, which is a Wizards of the Coast property. Yeah, but orcs were originally a Lord of the Rings thing, is what I'm saying. Is it a generic fantasy bad race? Can you name me where orcs came from prior to the Lord of the Rings, printing of the Lord of the Rings? Kithkin equals Hobbit. Is that canon, though? I understand they're parroting it, but are these literally hobbits? Like, does it say hobbit in the creature type or in the name? Is there a single word to say that it's hobbit? I can understand that, like, you know, they're ripping it off. There we go. Kithkin are not hobbits. In the Lord of the Rings universe, orcs were elves captured by the big bad guy and transformed into them. Were they elves? I guess so. Oh, maybe I had it wrong. I'm not that deep into the Lord of the Rings. I mean, I've seen the movies. I've read a little bit of the universe outside, but for some reason I thought they were goblins. Were elves captured by the big bad guy and transformed into them. All right. Kithkin are just the lawsuits-friendly hobbits. Isn't the answer to is this in Lord of the Rings always yes? But like Lord of the Rings borrowed mythology from a lot of other places. But what I'm trying to say is orc. Okay, origin of orc. The word is found in Latin and Old English. Dates back to Beowulf. But we have anything? Oh, monster, demon / monster. So maybe there is something beyond Lord of the Rings. Orcs from Lord of the Rings are incels. The elves are good-looking orcs. Okay. Yeah, I understand ogres. Actually, we might have discovered that orcs actually predate Tolkien. According to Wikipedia, Tolkien brought orcs into modern fantasy, though in Old English poems like Beowulf, there exists similar mythological creature. All right, we got the answer. I'm dead wrong here. I thought orcs were. I know Tolkien borrowed a lot of fantasy, but I actually thought he invented the orcs. Well, now we have people who think orcs are half goblin, half human, but we have enough people that claim that the orcs are actually... Okay, so there actually has never been a crossover. There is no attack. I will give to Wizards that they are not stealing from the Lord of the Rings, and that crossover does not have to actually exist as part of canon. The original orc is Shrek. I guess so. Our core and original idea of MTG... I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to tell now what's original. Everything's borrowed from somewhere. They certainly didn't invent mermaids or sirens or any of the mer people. Did I miss any comments here? Kyoka says, Walking Dead cards won't be playable in Legacy / Vintage. We don't know that. There are some stupid decks that require random creatures to enable their combos. You know, never underestimate what a Alurin deck might need all of a sudden. Anyway, just throwing that out there. You know, it's possible random creatures can end up being playable in Legacy and Vintage. And EDH is a casual format, so why not? Because they don't like it. They don't like it. It sounds like a lot of them they don't like it. It's a pony format, but the ponies have spoken. They said to hell with these cards. They don't like them either. The competitive players don't want them, and the casual players don't want them. Rick is legitimately strong card for Legacy humans. So yeah, could possibly see play. Merfolk might be original MTG invention. I don't think so. Not a chance. Not a chance Merfolk was invented by by Wizards of the Coast. Aren't these Walking Dead cards basically reserve list cards since they need permission to print them due to IP rights in which Wizards may never want to repay them again for it? So, well, I mean, this is the deal. I don't know if there's any truth to this, but someone on Twitter, I saw someone on Twitter say that Hasbro bought a company which ended up owning the rights to the Walking Dead, like the intellectual property of the Walking Dead. Hence, why this crossover happened. So we might actually see future Walking Dead cards if that's true. I don't know if that's true. This is as far as I'm concerned, because no one else talked about it beyond that. So it could be just rumor. But beyond that, yes, there is a problem. So they might be calling these very limited edition cards because they may not have the rights to them in the future. And they are definitely not going to want to try to gouge permission in the future because they might actually ask for a higher price. Oh, you need our intellectual property to make more money? Okay, well, we want more money. Pay us more. So, I mean, that's not good news. However, what's it called? Mark Rosewater said, now this is not a really good solution here, but Mark Rosewater said that they could print the functionally exact same card with a different name, different art, but in a sense, you're now actually printing a second version of that card into the format. So if everyone needed Rick, now they have access to Rick and the new version of Rick. So they actually have two copies of it. And it's a legendary creature, so I mean, it actually is beneficial to play both copies. And the person who's only playing one is now actually going to be at a disadvantage because they can't have two versions of this legendary creature in play at the same time, unless it has different names. So, like, there's no way they can actually properly balance this unless they print 5 different versions of the same card, and then you just have to pick 2 of them or pick 4 of them. Anyway, so ugly situation. Very ugly situation. I think Token came up with the concept that orcs are tortured elves so Sauron could control them. Probably, but I will give it to the community that orcs were not invented by Token, as I thought they were. Then again, I'm not a deep Lord of the Rings fan. That's why I got the community out here. Thank you very much. It's the power. I mean, you're basically a cyborg. Chat is a cyborg. You're a mastermind cyborg. You're a million minds capable of Googling things, and you'll all find the answer. Even if they are not playable, what if the Lego secret lair is the Lego or the McDonald's secret lair? You better believe we're going to be playing with as many McDonald's cards as possible on this channel with the amount of McDonald's that I eat. Get in there, Hamburglar. Now that could be a thieving magpie, the Hamburglar. Whenever Hamburglar deals damage, draw a card. It sounds exactly what the Hamburglar would do. Or does it just steal food tokens? Whenever Hamburglar deals damage to an opponent, gain control of all of that player's food tokens. That's actually very, very flavorful. You steal the food. No, Parasulky, we steal the food tokens. If they have food tokens, we take them. They're now our food tokens. Very important question. I started relatively recently, so I don't have many play points. Right now I'm at 140. I've got almost finished Bogles. I am farming player points in duels. At how many points should I enter a league? I was thinking to have at least another 100 spare play points before entering. I would take a shot at you know what? I actually had I actually had a patron video about this. It's tough. You know what? I would take a shot maybe at 300. When you're at 300, because the thing is, your EV is way higher when you play in a league. It's way higher than if you play in the duels, the 1v1s. Your EV is not nearly as high. You need to have a way higher win percentage. Whereas in the leagues, you only need a 50% win percentage to actually make bank. Yeah, you have to say it's true. You need to stay solvent. So here's Tuck said you need your EV is higher, but you need to stay solvent. So I would take a shot. So this is my recommendation. At 300, take a shot. If you lose, where's the question? I would take a shot at 300 play points. If you lose, if you go below 300 play points, go back to the 1v1s to grind back up to 300. I think if you are a winning player, if you can grind to 300 play points in the 1v1s, then I think you will be infinite. I think it'll be very hard for you to lose like 15 straight. Because no, you need to lose more than 15 straight. You need to lose like 20 matches straight in the 1v1s. So like basically, I think at 300, take a shot. If you go 2-3 in a league, you go down to 250 play points. Go back to the 1v1s before you grind back up to 300. At 300, take a shot and just keep doing that infinitely. That's my recommendation. And I think you will safely basically be infinite. Whitman subscribing with Prime. Thank you very much for subscribing 3 months in a row. It would be cool to have a card that steals food, but it should have a split second so they can't eat the food in response. I have no idea how that card would work, but do you know how it would work? If this creature attacks, it has an ability split second. Opponent cannot sacrifice food. But the food costs 2 to sacrifice, so I think there's going to be a lot of situations where the opponent has a lot of food in play, and there's like they're tapped out because they're playing creatures. They can't actually sacrifice it. And you told me all that for free. Thank you very much. You're welcome, Parasulki. That's what we do at Coffee and MTG. We help people. You got questions? I'll give you as best answers I possibly can, because there's definitely a way of let's dissect what Tuxdev was saying here. Fellow statistician Tuxdev, there is something to be said about the risk of ruin. Now, this is a poker concept, but it can definitely be applied to Magic the Gathering. You could, like, for example, the entry to the league is very large. They're going to have tougher players there for sure. But if you lose, let's say you have 100 play points, if you play with 100 play points and you lose, I guess it's going to be the same EV if I lose all 5. No, it's not actually. If you lose all 5 rounds, or if you even lose 4 rounds in the league, you get nothing. Whereas if you have 100 play points and you lose 5 rounds in 1v1s, 4 rounds, let's say with 4 rounds, then you get 5 play points for each loss, which means in the end you have 40 play points. So the risk of ruin in the 1v1s is actually lower because they give you something a little bit back. No matter whether you win or you lose, you get something. But the EV is not as high. You don't have a chance to jump. You don't have a chance to like start really grinding play points and treasure chests and ticks. So definitely, yeah, the GoatBot's EV calculator is very good for this as well. But GoatBots is not going to calculate a good bankroll management strategy, which is exactly what Parasulki was asking about. They're asking for a bankroll management strategy. Now in poker, like back when I used to play with 5% of my bankroll on any particular table. That was my strategy, and I think I could safely apply something very similarly in Magic, because if you play in the 1v1s, you're basically only risking 15 play points. So I think anyway, I stick to my suggestion. At 300 play points, sacrifice 100 of them to play in a league. Good luck. And it's not going to be that bad, actually. Do you know what I think? I think you're definitely going to see stronger competition, but not so much stronger that you aren't going to be profitable. I think if you can beat the 1v1s, you're going to be able to beat the leagues as well. I was somewhat taking in parallel with the stock market idea that of the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. Well, yeah, these are slightly two different things. I mean, with the stock market concept, if you put the money in, you should do it in the sense that you're not expecting to take money out. Because if you, in this case, in the long run, the stock market will go up, but you have to assume you're never going to take your money out. Dude, they wanted the Walking Dead cards to be commander cards, and I think it's okay to have someone play the Walking Dead character in a casual commander format. But if the format, now I can't speak on behalf of all the commander players, and it seems, at least from my Twitter feed, I don't follow a lot of commander players, but I follow enough commander players that I get some sense, maybe it's a skewed sense, that the commander players don't like this. It was a community-based format, and yeah, it's casual, but if most of them don't like this concept, don't like the idea that they're throwing these very limited edition cards into their format, yeah, and like Tuckstep says here, silver border is fine to play too if you're casual. They could have made silver border cards, and then if your play group agrees with it, then they play it. And what it's going to end up being is they're going to soft ban these cards. There's going to be play groups that are just going to say, no, you're not allowed to play with Walking Dead cards. Sorry. And we're also sorry that you spent so much money on them because they're super rare. Anyway, it's quite clear the community doesn't really like them. But I don't know exactly to the extent. Like, maybe 50% do like them. I've only heard the negativity. The negative voices rise above everybody else. That's for sure. People who love things, they're not very loud. People who hate things, we're angry and we're loud. And screw this. Though I would dig an Among Us secret lair like this. Oh, where is this? I want to see an Among Us meme. Oh, this could be really sweet. Hold on. This could be sick. Look at this. Look at this, everybody. Murder. Is this really how it goes? I can't remember all the animations. Maybe this is one. Destroy target creature. That would be pretty cool. It would cost them a lot of money. Among Us making bank right now. Can't have that IP for free. What if they printed a playable Merfolk card in one of these secret lairs? Can't wait for secret lair. The snorkels. The snorkel. So I've been making a list, actually. Okay, so for any of the Merfolk players out there, what secret lair are we looking for? I can think of the Little Mermaid, Finding Nemo, Aquaman, secret lair. What else? Come on, let's spit this out. What are we hoping Wizards prints here? What secret lair is going to have the busted Merfolk cards in it? I can't outside of that I can't think of anything. Little Mermaid, Aquaman, Finding Nemo. Oh, maybe SpongeBob SquarePants? Maybe we'll get something good there. Can't tell for sure. Secret Lair Waterworld. Sea Lab 2020. I'm not even familiar with some of this stuff. Yeah, we already got Little Mermaid. We kind of hated it because it was terrible. Well, we had the Little Mermaid card. Why didn't we get Little Mermaid's Papa? Daddy Mermaid. Daddy Ariel. The Shape of Water, Secret Lair French Movie Edition. I think I've heard of that, The Shape of Water, but I have no idea what it is. My buddy trolled me by buying a playset of that mermaid in in Japanese. That's sick. The Deep Blue Sea. How much would it cost to take the character Urza from Wizards of the Coast into another game? I mean, he is not that big, is he? I don't know if anyone knows who the hell Urza is. Hunt for Red October crossover? That'd be a really lame crossover. 40,000 Leagues Below the Sea? Oh, Flipper? Flipper. Oh, maybe Jaws? Maybe Jaws. I don't know. Like, somehow that Jaws the shark has to help the Merfolk deck in some way. It gives all other Merfolk +2/+2. I don't know. That would be pretty. That's I never thought about that. Why don't we have a 3-mana Lord that does nothing but give other Merfolk +2/+2? Like, I'd be in for that. That'd be pretty strong. Secret Lair Free Willy. Secret Lair Under the Sea. So there's a lot of secret lairs possibly for the Merfolk community. Okay. So we have Balada streamed 100 bits. Thank you very much, Balada. Loving the conversation here this morning. And with that, it's definitely time to take a delicious sip of my coffee while I shill out for my sponsors, starting with the Matabase.com, your home base for everything Magic the Gathering. And the Matabase is sponsored by Fusion Gaming Online. And the Fusion Gaming Online always has a new deal of the week. Deal of the week this week. Save up to 15% off old Double Master singles. So if you need a Force of Will, Jace the Mind Sculptor, I don't know what else is in Double Master. There's tons of stuff like Thoughtseize and crap like that. Oh, Mana Crypt is also in Double Masters. Don't forget about your Mana Crypts. Save up to 15% off at Fusion Gaming Online, my favorite local game store. I'm just going to remind everyone, if you've never heard of Fusion Gaming, they are a Canadian store with Canadian prices. We even have people in chat who have bought from them. Tuxtev has bought from them. Tuxtev can confirm that this is a real local game store. They will sell you cards. And also, we are going to thank Mana Traders. Mana Traders is the premier place to rent Magic cards online, and you can support the channel by using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or you can get 15% off your first 3 months by using my coupon code Nikachu. I'm going to thank Mana Traders for being our sponsor. And what better way to play new decks, new adventurous stuff, than with Mana Traders? And the way we discover these decks is with Decklist review. So if you have any deck list to submit today, go ! Deck review space, give the URL to your deck list, leave any comments. Is it a budget deck? What do you need help against? Like, what are you losing to? That's part of like deck construction. You've built your deck, you're beating a lot of stuff, but you're not really beating the aggro matchups. Or maybe you have nothing for combo. And by the way, you don't always have to beat matchups. You can take it from, you might be losing anyway. If I'm losing badly in a matchup, I'm just might have to admit, okay, I'm losing, but maybe I can take this from like a 10% matchup to a 35% matchup with a better sideboard plan, or maybe a slight different tweak to the deck list. So open for deck list review. Good morning. Why don't you come join me one day on this, Chief? I should be getting the guests. I should be getting guests online. Print Plague Engineer is a 2-drop. Well, they do. It's called Phantasmal Image. Copy Plague Engineer. Wipe me out. That happened in the Modern Showcase on Saturday. I was up against humans. They played Plague Engineer. They tapped their vial for 2. Boom. Another Plague Engineer. Wiped out my board. I trickstered it. It blew up, but then they followed up with another damn Phantasmal Image into a Plague Engineer. It was all cries. How did you do with your childhood build? We lost a game and we won a game, and we did do some refinements, and we'll play it again on Wednesday. I don't think I'm going to play it today. Maybe I will. I don't know. I'm not. Maybe we will, pending how good I feel. These are rarities. I wake up this early. You're on the show all the time. You're BSing me here. I want to do another series playing against MTG personalities. Oh, you mean with Among Us? I'm totally fine. I'm going to be prepared. When I went into that show, when I went into playing Among Us, I didn't even know, there are so many things I don't know. I didn't know that the imposters are the only ones that can go through the vents. I didn't know what a dead body looked like, so I kept walking on top of them or just walking through them. I watched Aspiring Spike's VOD on it. You should all watch Aspiring Spike's VOD, because Aspiring Spike watched how I played like a complete pony. He was watching me. He was scouting me as a dead body, and he saw me just walk right over a body. And he's like, "Is Nikachu the imposter?" I don't think he's the imposter. I think he just walked right over the body. Anyway, but what I was so impressed with is that I played so stupid, but you guys were smart enough to realize that I'm so stupid that I was not the killer for a lot of these kills. Like, it looks like Nikachu is the imposter, but you know what? His story about being so stupid actually adds up. He's probably not the imposter. Oh, you mean another? Oh, you mean like Merfolk versus Goblins? Yeah, I've been in for that too. But I'm more into the Among Us thing. Nikachu, how do you think if there would be a MTG-based stand-up night, like one, would you host it? To what other players would fit? I was thinking Jim Davis, CGB. I don't know. What do you mean by MTG-based stand-up night? Not sure. I played with enough stupid people to know when they're not suspect. There you go. You know. I now looking back, like I've now watched after playing and watching other people. Yeah, like that's what I was thinking. The Bradley. Oh, are you talking about comedy here? Stand up comedy club. So, but addressing this, I now realize that I was like a level 0 player. I can't do the tasks very well. They're like almost possible. Nikachu is sus, but he's just an idiot. There you go. Exactly. He's so suspicious. But yeah. For my first joke, I'll just say one thing. Merfolk. Mic drop. Nikachu in Ponyland. That sounds like that's exact. Like I still have to put my Among Us VOD on YouTube, and that's basically going to be the title. So just curious, do we have a single deck list review? We haven't had many deck reviews for a while. It's like I went through everyone's deck list and I have nothing else to... No deck list review. All right, we stick with the conversation. More people are interested in talking Magic than anything else. And talking MTG personalities. Did you read my cheer message? Oh, we do have a cheer message? I don't see a message attached to it. It said Balada cheered 100 bits 6 minutes ago. Did you create your own custom message after that? Oh, you had a deck list review, but you did double exclamation point. And Jumberjack also has a deck list, but did not write deck review, wrote deck list. All right, so let's get to... There's actually some deck list to review. But people are not... Even when the command is here the entire time, look, it's a very specific. One exclamation point. Programming is sensitive. Any programmers out there will tell you, you get the one letter off, it won't understand. It won't get it. Coding is, well, not complicated, but it's frustrating. Is there anyone else that manually... Okay, let's... Blooded, do you have something to say, though? Anyway, okay, let's go. We have some deck list to review. So let's look at them. Makes me wonder how many people have incorrectly put in the command and I just brushed by them. People are lucky. Bramble Elves. Okay, what is this? What do you think of a sideboard? Rex Sage enough against Tron. Good idea to cut the black. I don't think the black is bad if you have that one creature that soaks them for a bunch of damage. Where's the black? I don't see any black here. I just see pure green. Nettle Sentinel, Bramblewood, Paragon. Each other warrior you control comes to play with an additional +1/+1. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 has trample. Not too bad. Gives you some room to play around Plague Engineer. Dwindon's Elite, Growth. Well, this one, we're in Modern? I don't think Growth Chamber Guardian is going to cut it in Modern. Elvish Archdruid is great. Azuri is fine. Craterhoof is fine. Ooh. Turn Timber Symbiosis. So at 7 mana, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You can put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. If that card is converted mana cost 3 or less, it enters the battlefield with 3 additional +1/+1 counters. But it's only one creature, right? It's only one creature. If you have 7 mana, like, shouldn't you soak it into something like Genesis Wave or something like that? Reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of permanent cards with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield, and put all cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield into your graveyard. I think this is, like, better for elves? Trying to grab the hoof? Yeah, but like, shouldn't you just play Court of Calling? Or you have only one hoof. Okay. So let's say this is trying to grab the hoof. We have one hoof. Yeah, but this is a land that comes. Is this? No, hold on. What is the other side of this? You can pay 3 life. Okay, so it's not coming into play tapped. Okay, let's say this is to grab hoof. Then we should have more hoofs in this deck because 7 cards deep is not a lot. It's just not a lot. I don't think it's a lot in my opinion. I also think you're shooting yourself in the face for a bit. So how about we take out some of these? Why don't we load up on a bunch of Craterhoof Behemoths? Let's get 3 Craterhoof Behemoths. How many Craterhoofs do we need to play in this deck so that Turn Timber Symbiosis actually nails this card? Like can actually grab it. Sure, it's bad in your opener, but like, okay, this combination, you have 2 choices. Like, I agree it's bad in your opener. You have 2 choices. You play this to combo with this, or you don't. Yeah, Coco for 7, exactly. I don't like the idea. Well, I don't know. I don't like the idea of spending. Ugh, is this just for Craterhoof Behemoth? Is there like no better way of getting a Craterhoof Behemoth in play? Okay, I would add another Craterhoof to this deck for sure, and I think elves can suck it up. Spending 7 well, okay. What are the other payoffs with Turn Timber? Finding a Zuri, another Elvish Archdruid. Well, the opportunity cost is 3 life. I don't think that's nothing. So I mean, you're gonna shoot yourself in the face quite often with especially in a deck like elves. You're not gonna like if this is your one land in your hand, you're gonna pay 3 life for sure. Yeah, it's not a forest with upside. It's a non-basic land that adds the green mana with some upside. It has upside. Okay, let's say I'm wrong about this. So we still want one Craterhoof Behemoth. Okay, let's say we just ignore this main deck. Main deck might be solid. The question was, what do you think of the sideboard? Rex Sage enough against Tron? Good idea to cut the black. Oh, so I'm guessing this deck had black before, and the black got cut to go mono green. It's okay. I mean, I think black is fine as well. So we have 3 Shaper Sanctuaries, 1 Gaia's Blessing to beat the mill decks. Inscription of Abundance. I don't even know what this card does. Choose 1. Here, maybe can I zoom in here? Kicker 3. Choose 1. If the spell is kicked, choose any number instead. Put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature. Target player gains X life, where X is the greatest power among creatures they control. Target creature you control fights another target creature you don't control. I do not like this card. I do not think this is a very strong card. I mean, I guess for maybe for 5 mana it does a lot, but I think you could do better than this. Reclamation Sage, I think, is fine against Tron. There's a lot of things you can hit. I mean, you can go turn 2 Reclamation Sage against their Expedition map. On the draw, it'll be weaker, but there will be a lot of things that you can nail with Reclamation Sage. I don't mind Reclamation Sage at all. However, this is a bit of a toolbox deck. You do have the option. Like if you have this one Craterhoof Behemoth, you have some room to play niche 1-ofs so that you can hopefully find them with your Turn Timber Symbiosis. Yeah, Hinterland Harbor sucks. Living End uses Cascade to put your graveyard onto the battlefield. Toolbox would play Chord, but this particular deck is using the land, the Turn Timber Symbiosis. They're opting to play this one instead. And honestly, Elves, not in a very good spot So why not try to innovate with this? I have no problem, trying to take elves in a completely new direction. Because where's elves? It's nowhere. Personally, I would just try to play with more lords, because that's one way of like trying to beat the plague engineers while still trying to retain the some typical, or not typical, like the classic elf build. So anyway, turn Timber Symbiosis. I have no problem trying this card. Good idea to cut the black. I think cutting the black might be okay. Let's be real. Most of the time in elves, you fizzle out, so you have many bad draws. Just play Chord or something over 4 Symbiosis. Wait, what the fuck? 4 Symbiosis is bad here to hit 7 mana. 4 out of 4. They're trying something. They're trying something. They're going to try Terran Timber Symbiosis. And that's that. At the very least, you're going to hit something with your mana. Although the problem with hitting the 7 mana is, of course, your creatures are getting sniped off. So if you don't... But at the very least, this is a land. It's just going to be land no matter what. You might shoot yourself for 3 damage. Yeah, it can be a land. This is a land. So it's like a Quarter Calling that can be a land if it needs to. Well, this is really close up. I'm going to flip it. Turn Timber, Serpentine Wood. This is so close up, I feel like I'm there. I'm in the moss. When it enters the battlefield, you can pay 3 life. If you don't, enters the battlefield tapped. Well, it's bad. Well, it depends on the board state. I mean, obviously, it's better with more creatures on the battlefield. I think Elves has some few good finishes here and there. I would prefer, like, I don't know about the Bramblewood Paragon, but I'm not going to. I won't touch your main deck because you asked more advice for the sideboard. I think Reclamation Sage would help Tron. I can't remember. Does Damping Sphere screw over elves? Or can elves play with Damping Sphere? No, I don't think elves can play with Damping Sphere because they're usually trying to play out multiple things per turn. So they should just try to live without it. This actually is really not good. 18 lands and 4 are these. Correct. How many lands do you want? Yeah, I realize the D sphere can screw you over, because I don't know what other options does green have against Tron, like regular Tron. But why would that actually matter? Like, doesn't Elves Goldfish pretty well against Tron? I mean, they need to, like, they can't if you can get a turn 3 kill relatively consistently, you will beat them. They can't interact with you very well at all, with the exception of maybe a few Dismembers, maybe a turn 2 Walking Ballista. But if you have like one Lord in play, then it won't matter. Because if you just have a consistent turn 3 kill, you'll beat most. I think you should be able to beat most Tron decks, because it's only at 8 mana that they'll stomp you. But I don't know the matchup. Maybe on the draw you aren't fast enough. Yeah, I was talking about that. It's well, earlier you were saying like these lands were free. And now you're saying no, they're not free. Of course they're not free. Whatever. This version is playing with Turn Timber Symbiosis. Is there anything in mono green? Oh, you know what? It can help actually. Collector Oof. Collector Oof can help, and I think that would screw them over better than Reclamation Sage. Because once you have Collector Oof on the battlefield, they cannot activate Walking Ballista. They cannot activate the Oblivion Stone. They cannot activate what's it called? Expedition Map. They can't activate anything. So how many lands do you think this deck should have? How many lands should this particular deck have? In addition to playing Turn Timber Symbiosis. And what would you remove? But my recommendation, maybe remove two Reclamation Sage, or something else for 2 Collector Oof. I think Collector Oof is very strong at slowing Tron down by a lot. Like, they just stop you once you get Collector Oof on the battlefield. They are really dependent on just like playing their Tron land drops and then all of a sudden playing like an Ugin or something and then following it up with a victory. If you were playing 22 lands with these, then you think of them more as a sorcery. But when you play them as 18 lands, you think of them as a bolt face land. Your openers are going to be half of these. You are forced to bolt yourself. Well, of course. It's exactly what they're going to do. This is a really good point. Something I was about to bring up. Is bolting yourself really that bad in a deck that's trying to combo off? If you're forced to bolt yourself with these, you're forced to shock in the same way. That's not, yeah, so that's not entirely true. You have the option, say, in the late, let's say we're in the late game, you can fetch and find a forest when you need to preserve your life total, whereas with this, if you need it untapped, you're always taking you're taking 3 damage. Yeah, you can shock or fetch for 1 damage. This is a very similar situation, or it's not a similar situation. This sort of reminds me which lands will save you more life. Well, so the other side of the coin here is you don't, if you have a fetch land and you really need this if you really need the land at 1 life, this fetch lands become unplayable, or like you always take life from a fetch land, whereas this Turn Timber Symbiosis card, you don't necessarily have to take life. You just have to pass the turn for a turn. Well, you're screwed versus Burn anyway. Like, when was Elves ever good against Burn? Searing Blaze that. Searing Blaze you, then this and that, and basically it just falls apart. I could be wrong. Maybe this deck has more game against Burn than I think, but anyway, I hope there was some feedback that you're able to take away from all of that lumberjack. So thanks for submitting the deck list, and good luck against Tron. And we also have something from Balada. A deck that has got me past a few rounds, but I missed top 8 due to tiebreakers. So it sounds like you already have a deck that's working, and you just, maybe you're just if you're doing well with it, maybe you're just missing a little something, or maybe you just need to get a little bit more lucky. You just have to keep jamming tournaments until it works out for you. So this is some sort of Hollow One deck. Let's look at the Archfiend of Ifnir, Bloodbraid Elf, Deadshot Minotaur, Desert, Ceradon, Hollow One, Horror. Oh, so this is the, is this Living End? Violent Outburst? Yeah, it is. Demonic Dread, Living End, and Beast Within. Anger the Gods, Fairy Macabre, Fulminator Mage, Ingot Chewer, Kolgan's Command, Shriekmaw. So, Balada, my question for you is, what are you losing to? Well, last time played was Hogak era. Well, that's a long time ago. You should just see how this is going to work in today's modern metagame. Because, I mean, you got the Living End package, but you can take another angle. Like, if someone is positioning them... Hold on, how does Bloodbraid Elf work? So you can actually cascade into Living End, get it to resolve, and you still have a Bloodbraid Elf at the end. That's pretty cool. So I don't think there's anything wrong, and I think if you like, I like all of these cards. I love the Bloodbraid Elf and Hollow One line too. So you have, because what you can do is you can start applying pressure to the battlefield and get the opponent to start tapping out to deal with them, and then once they tap out, you go boom, Violent Outburst for the win. So I see that angle of attack that you have on you. if you have on the competition when you're running a living end deck like this. What was the Squat Chief says? Elves has more game versus burn than Merfolk. Well, then you must be saying that it's a buy, because for Merfolk, well, we have pretty good game against burn. But sticking with this deck, I don't have a whole lot of feedback here. I don't have a whole lot of feedback unless someone else has some feedback. I mean, it's a solid living end deck. I really like how you have a sort of a plan, pseudo plan A. Like you can, I mean, of course, your main plan is to get living end off, but your opponent cannot like sit behind counter spells for forever to deal with it. They may have to, for example, deal with a Hollow One or Bloodbraid Elf, or even you just casting the damn things when you get to like 4 to 5 mana. And then as soon as they start competing on that angle and they tap out, you can living end them. And I think that's very good. Sideboard, Anger the Gods, Fairy Macabre, Fulminator Mage, Ingot Chewer, Kolaghan's Command, Shriekmaw. And I think actually these cards are going to be just as relevant today as it was before. Fairy Macabre is probably as well. Anger the Gods, yeah. So anyway, I think the deck is strong. I think the deck is strong, and I think the deck is solid, and just love to see you play it in today's modern metagame, see how it turns out. Is it bad? Okay, I can see it being bad against humans because they have, I mean, all combo decks are terrible against humans. Between Thalia and between like sometimes Unsettled Mariner and also pending if they play Unsettled Mariner, but also Meddling Mage, just name Living End. They always have like a lot. It's very, very difficult to beat humans, and they have a really fast clock. But why would you be so bad against Jund? That I don't see happening. I mean, what are they going to do? They like discard. I mean, I guess you only have so many. You could up the number of Violent Outbursts and Demonic Dreads you have in your deck. You only have 6. You could go to 7, for example. That might increase your chances of like whoops, you can't see it. That might increase your chances of beating. You have only 4 Violent Outbursts and 2 Demonic Dreads. So I mean, if they Thoughtseize or Inquisition these things away, no, it's like really slow and hard to actually get the living end game plan going unless you actually rip the card off the top of your deck. I only have 10 Cascade cards. Only 10? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you have Bloodbraid Elf as well. You have more than enough. So what's wrong? Only 10! Only 10! That's more than any regular living end deck. Skoos? Is Skoos really that big of a deal? I mean, you can very easily kill that with, what's it called? Where is it? Oh, this deck doesn't have it. I guess because you have to make room for Hollow One. I was looking for Shriekmaw. Here you go. You got Shriekmaw. I get the sense like Jund is like really clunky against Living End. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they've got. I mean, I know they have answers, but I can't see them having. I can't see the answers being strong enough to deal with this deck very well. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe one Thoughtseize, Demonic Dread away, Tarmogoyf, attack is good enough with I don't know, Skoos backup. But Skoos is clunky. Like Skoos in general is like a bad way of dealing with the graveyard. It's like a really bad way of dealing with the graveyard. It's like it's something, but it's not good. It always requires mana. Always wants mana. So mana hungry this thing is. Carrick Long, thank you very much for subscribing 2 months in a row. Thank you also very much for being part of the conversation here on Coffee and MTG. All my decks are paper and hard to test right now. Yeah, you got to wait until things clear up. We'll play them online. How expensive is Living End online? Is there they have it priced out here. Card Hoarder, 212 ticks. A very affordable deck online. I could almost say this is a budget deck. Almost. Is it fast enough? Prowess might get under more of the time? I don't know. Like you have a turn 3 living end almost all the time. So prowess has to win on the play. And by the way, this is at instant speed, so they can attack with their prowess creatures, and then if they go all in, you living end. And if they don't go all in, which they won't, and which is fine, then you end of turn living end, and you put like at least 2 big bodies on the battlefield. And then you can do this again a few more times. Paper deck testing is great on Spell Table. In fact, I think Wizards of the Coast just acquired them. Interesting. So maybe look up Spell Table if you want to get in on some Paper Magic. And also welcome back to Miss Mulligan. Miss Mulligan getting back into the streaming scene as well. It's been a while. I remember Miss Mulligan streaming back when I had 500 subscribers on YouTube. You do have Spirit Guide to speed up the deck. Well, you don't need it though. I don't think you need Spirit Guide. I think you're fine. I think this is fine for the most part. Do you have any? Usually there's Shriekmaw on the deck to at least eat up creatures, and I think Shriekmaw is relatively well positioned right now. Maybe what you? I mean, I like the idea of Hollow One, but if this card is too fancy, costs 2 less to cast for each card you cycle this turn. But this is good. It's even good against Prowess. Like, I would totally they attack with a Swift Spear, block. All right, now what are you going to do? And they can empty a bunch of mutagenic growths on it, but that's a lot of value. That's going to slow them down. And then when you living end, you still wipe out the stupid Swift Spear and you get the Hollow One back. I normally get Hollow One on turn 1 or 2 normally, and it's a great blocker. Hollow One is a great card against those aggro decks, hands down. Nothing wrong with a 4/4 creature. They can't bolt it, so they have to attack into it. I guess it takes 1 mutagenic growth and gets out of range, right? So a Swift Spear with a mutagenic growth turns into a 4/5 creature. That might be enough, but it still saves you life, takes a card out of their hand. They're forced to play that prowess spell right then on that turn. I can approve of this deck. And Seer's and Pyromancer is pretty cool too. Nice list. Good luck with it. All right, so that's it with Coffee and MTG. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining the show. We're still streaming. We got gameplay coming up. Where's my brother? Where's my brother? No notifications from my brother. Who knows where he is? He could be anywhere. There was a time I had shadow versions of the deck from the side. Interesting. So sick of Omnath and Uro. I'm not. I'm beating those decks for the most part. The only version of Omnath Uro that I have a tough time against is basically what's it called, the Niv to Light version. That version's pretty tough. All right, so everyone, thank you very much for joining me today, and we had a great conversation as usual. Some nice healthy debate in the comment section, and I'll see you at the next cup. And so, for anyone watching live, we're going to go into streaming, but for everyone on YouTube, see you next time.